think when you're telling a story about a woman, having women surrounding that film is important. So between, you know, Barbara Broccoli, Reed Morano, our costume designer, Emer, Liz Raposo at Paramount, these are all women who have different experiences that they can bring to the table. There's also men who made this film who brought so much to the table with their own experiences. So I think that it's just nice to see that, it's nice to see the pendulum swing a little bit where women are getting more opportunities. This is really important to us as women to say, like, this isn't just like a sexy female object. She's a prostitute, now she's killing people. It's to say, look at this life of pain. Look at this woman who society completely wrote off. She was somebody who had her life together, you know, by and large. She had a real tragedy and couldn't bounce back from it. And society just wiped their hands of her. And every single human being has value. And every single human being, if you invest in them, respect them, you give them an opportunity, you know, they can do something beautiful with their life, whether it's big or small. But it just really goes to show what society does to people who they deem no longer humans, which is just really awful and sad. And so this was, it was important to tell this story of, you know, someone who is a drug addict and a prostitute in a way that is more authentic to how it really plays out versus the movie version. The movie doesn't go too much into her backstory because I think, you know, because this is a story, this is the most authentic sort of movie of this type of genre. We wanted the audience to feel like this could be you. And if this could be you, you don't want to be too specific with her backstory because you want people to sit in the theater and go, oh my God, if this happened to me, like I could, if I was in a car chase, this is actually how I might drive the car. If I was faced with having to avenge my family and shoot someone, could I actually pull that trigger when I'm looking at somebody in the eyes and I'm seeing their veins and I'm seeing their hands and I'm seeing that they're an actual flawed human being, you know? So it's like we wanted the audiences to really be able to put themselves in her shoes. So it's just sort of like an abstract touching on her backstory, but she's somebody who had a brother and a sister. She had parents, and they were meant to fly together, and she didn't fly with them, and their plane crashed. And so she really holds a lot of responsibility and guilt for her family going. And it's probably something that she got into drugs initially. She's just a college student in a middle-class family, but she probably got into drugs just to sort of cope with the pain, yeah, to numb herself a little bit. She loses her family and, you know, she falls into drugs and eventually prostitution to pay for her drugs. And then she finds out that the family's plane crash wasn't an accident. A journalist comes to her. And this is sort of the thing that prompts her the entire story that you see. And it's almost like, this film is almost like an origin story, but if an origin story was a real life origin story versus a superhero origin story. So this was one bit of information, and this person who tells her, this journalist, being kind to her and treating her like a human being, really goes a long way and reminds her of who she is. So she goes on a mission to find out what that means. If it wasn't an accident, who did it and why? I don't think she goes off to avenge her family with the thought that she'll actually succeed. I think she just thinks, well, I'm gonna go out trying. She barely survives each time. And I think that's what I connected with so much about this film, is that, like, if I were in a car chase for my life, I would not be doing really impressive tricks, but I would drive like my life depended on it. And maybe, who knows, I would make it out, you know, alive, and maybe not. But I think that's, she doesn't have the confidence of knowing that she'll make it out alive each time because she doesn't have the skills to do it.
Where is the buzz?
Oh, yeah.
Where is the buzz? You said was mine.
Where is the buzz?
Ooh.